Local market insights are really important, so I'm delighted to share this latest rental housing market update for Falmouth, brought to you by Lang Co. Whether you're a landlord or a renter, Lang are experts in this area, so don't hesitate to get in touch. Visit their website, llcoproperty.com, email hello@llcoproperty.com, or call 01326 331 812.
Taking a look at lettings, it's been an active quarter. In fact, the strongest we've seen all year, with a particularly busy September. A big part of that has been landlords turning to us for help and guidance ahead of some major changes in rental law that are just around the corner. Meanwhile, affordability for renters has become a growing concern in the area. Falmouth's rental market includes a mix of students, seasonal workers and residents on lower incomes. And we're now seeing signs that some tenants have reached the upper limits of what they can reasonably afford to pay. One of the biggest changes we've seen recently is the sheer number of rental homes available. At the moment, there are 137 properties available to rent in Falmouth. That's a huge increase of 85% compared to this time last year. This sharp rise in supply is starting to shape the market in several ways. For example, even though homes are still letting quickly, with the average being on the market for just 13 days, they are staying on the market slightly longer than before. This big increase in supply is one of the reasons we've seen average rents drop. Over the past year, rents have fallen by around 22%. That means the average rent paid by tenants now sits at around £1,060 per calendar month. Even current rents, which are averaging at £1,422 a month, are down 15% compared to a year ago. If we break it down by property type, the picture becomes even clearer. A detached home in Falmouth now lets for around £1,339 per month. That's pretty good value compared to the Southwest regional average of over £1,500. Semi-detached homes are letting for just over £1,000 locally, compared to nearly £1,300 across the wider region. Looking at smaller properties, the difference compared to the wider region is less noticeable, as terraced homes are letting for around £1,058 per month here in Falmouth, and flats are coming in at just over £1,000. But the overall takeaway is that rents here are still on the more affordable side in relation to the rest of Cornwall. Dataloft has analysed affordability figures for our area, and it paints a clear picture of the tenant demographic. Around 27% of renters are under the age of 21, and 39% of all let properties in the area are flats, all of which is no surprise given the strong student population. In areas like ours, where average incomes are generally lower, rent levels play a huge role in determining where people can afford to live. For example, someone earning between £10,000 and £20,000 a year is now spending over 40% of their income on rent. Compare that to someone earning £100,000 or more who's spending a much smaller fraction of their income on rent, and it really highlights the pressure facing many local tenants. Now, one of the biggest talking points for landlords right now is the Renters Reform Bill. After a long wait, it's finally set to become law in the coming weeks, and it will affect every single landlord. We're talking about the end of Section 21 no-fault evictions, new rules around rent increases, and stricter property standards. It's never been more important for landlords to stay informed, because the penalties for getting it wrong, even unintentionally, can be serious. We've already run a training webinar and provided tailored advice to our clients. But if you're a landlord and you still have questions, even if you're not currently working with us, we're more than happy to help. And if you're a tenant looking to move this autumn, our key piece of advice is to think carefully about timing. The front end of October tends to be very busy, particularly in Falmouth and Penryn, as so many students arrive here and settle in. 1 to 3 bedroom homes in good locations tend to get snapped up pretty quickly. But of course, after that, things do calm down a little as we head into late November and December. Moving then can give you a bit more breathing room, but you may find fewer properties coming on to the market. If you're renting somewhere new this winter, do keep an eye on energy performance ratings when viewing homes. Properties with a C rating or above can make a big difference to both your comfort in the colder months and your monthly energy bills. Looking slightly further ahead, there's plenty of local interest in the Pidar project in Truro. This phased development is set to bring around 300 new homes, including private rentals, affordable housing, and student accommodation. It's not just homes either. The wider plan includes creative workspaces, a hotel, public green spaces, and new leisure facilities. It's a long-term scheme, but one that will start delivering over the next year or so. Of course, property is just one part of life here. What really makes this part of Cornwall so special is the combination of nature, culture, and community. For nature lovers, Trebar Gardens remains a stunning escape, with subtropical trails and its own private beach. The Penryn to Flushing walk is another favourite. It winds along the creek and is perfect for a jog or a dog walk. When it comes to food and shopping, the Lemon Street Market in Truro is a real local gem. With the festive season fast approaching, don't miss the Truro Christmas Market. It's the perfect spot to find unique gifts and support local makers. And finally, if you're after some festive culture, the Hall of Cornwall is staging Aladdin throughout much of December, complete with a Cornish twist from the brilliant Kerno King Edward Rowe. That's all from us for now. So if you're a landlord, a renter, or simply keeping an eye on what's happening in the Falmouth property market, we're always here to help. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Lang Llewellyn are experts, so don't hesitate to get in touch. Visit their website, llcoproperty.com, email hello@llcoproperty.com, or call 01326 331 812.